Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to take one more important division of plant kingdom, and this division is named as Pteridophyta or Pteridophytes. First of all, why Pteridophytes? Why they are named as Pteridophytes? By and large, majority of these plants, majority of Pteridophytes, they have their leaves in the form of feathers. They have feather-like leaves, and that is why they are named as pteridophytes, because pteridophyte word is derived from two Greek words, pteron, the meaning of which is feather, and phyton, which means plant. Okay, that is why they are named as pteridophytes. Reason being, a majority of these plants, they have leaves which are in the form of feathers. They are feather-like leaves. Now the defining characteristic of these plants is these are the most primitive seedless vascular plants. These plants, although they do not produce seeds, they have developed vascular tissues, because in bryophytes no vascular tissues are present. Okay, pteridophytes contain vascular tissues, and this is the reason that these plants are adapted to live in terrestrial habitats. Okay, they are more adapted rather to live in terrestrial habitats as compared to bryophytes. And these plants, they reproduce by the formation of spores. They produce spores and they do not have fruits or seeds. Now the origin of the term bryophyte. Actually, it was Haeckel in 1866 who observed that a group of plants have leaves in the form of feathers, and he aptly named them pteridophytes. I have already told you that pteridophytes means those plants which are having leaves in the form of feathers. And one more important feature of pteridophytes you have to remember, that is, just like reptiles of the animal kingdom, the pteridophytes of the plant kingdom, they are the first true land plants which evolved after bryophytes. Okay? Because pteridophytes are the first true land plants which invaded land. They are sometimes known as botanical snakes or snakes of plant kingdom. जिस तरह एनिमल किंगडम में रेप्टाइल्स ऐसे एनिमल्स हैं जिन्होंने लैंड पे पहला कदम डाला, विच इन्वेडेड लैंड. Same is the case with pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are the first division of plants which invaded land during the course of evolution. Excuse me. And this is the reason that sometimes pteridophytes are known as botanical snakes or snakes of plant kingdom, and some authors say that they are the reptiles of plant kingdom. Okay, because they are very much similar to the reptiles of animals. Okay, just like reptiles in animal kingdom, they invaded first. They first invaded the land. Same is the case with pteridophytes, because pteridophytes have evolved vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are required for plants to live in terrestrial habitats. ठीक है, जो भी कोई aquatic plant होता है उसमें vascular tissues almost absent होते हैं. ठीक है बेटा. And since the pteridophytes, they evolved vascular tissues, they invaded the land, and that is why they are known as reptiles of plant kingdom or botanical snakes or snakes of plant kingdom. Okay, and this group of plants, this is represented by some 12,000 species, and all these species are living. That means at present 12,000 species of living pteridophytes are there. There are some other species which are in the form of fossils. You don't have to remember all those names. Okay, and these plant species, they range in size from small aquatic plants, for example azolla. You might have seen the cover of azolla on the surface water of Dal Lake. Okay, to giant tree ferns of tropical rainforests. ये आपने नहीं देखे होंगे, ठीक है, because these are present in tropical rainforests. And these plants, they have evolved they have evolved about 400 million years back in the Silurian period of late Paleozoic era. You have to remember this fact, beta. These have evolved 400 million years back in the Silurian period of late Paleozoic era, and hence the late Paleozoic era is regarded as age of reptiles. The age of reptiles is late Paleozoic era. Now something about their plant body, just like we discussed in case of bryophytes. हमने तब कहा था कि bryophytes have gametophyte as their dominant plant body. Here we are saying that sporophyte is the dominant plant body, and this sporophyte is nutritionally independent. That means it does not depend on gametophyte as happens in bryophytes. Okay, and this sporophyte is differentiated into root, stem, and leaves, and these structures were absent in case of bryophytes, and this is one more evolutionary advancement. Okay, and because of these structures they are able to live in more terrestrial habitats. Okay, and now their habitat, where they live, mostly these pteridophytes, they are terrestrial, and in terrestrial habitats these species prefer to grow in shady habitats. But there are some exceptions. Exceptions are always there in every plant group. Some of these pteridophytes, they are able to live in extreme dry environments, and these pteridophytes are known as xerophytes. Examples are Selaginella and Adiantum. Okay, and one more species is Equisetum. Okay, these are those pteridophytes which live in extreme dry environments. Now, one more category of pteridophytes is holophytes. Those pteridophytes which live in those soils which are extremely saline, they are known as holophytic pteridophytes. Example is a fern which is named as Acrostichum aureum. And some of these pteridophytes, they are adapted to live on the surface of other plants, and they are known as epiphytic pteridophytes. Examples are Selaginella oregana and Lycopodium sucarosum. And some pteridophytes, they are able to live only in aquatic conditions, and the examples are Salvinia, Azolla, and Marsilia. Okay, you have to remember these examples. Now, habit. How they look like, what is their appearance, what is their size, this all is studied in habit. The pteridophytes, they show much variation in their form, that means appearance, in their size, okay, and in their habit. Habit means the way they spend their life. Okay, for example, animals complete their life cycle in one season. Some are perennials, some are biennials. That is habit. Okay, and broadly speaking, the pteridophytes have been divided into two categories. Small animals is the first category, and in this category are those plants which complete their life cycle in a single growing season, in a single year. And there are many examples, and for the sake of convenience we will just go two examples, Azolla and Salvinia. If you have visited the Dal Lake, you might have seen these plants, and these plants cover the whole surface waters of Dal Lake. These are actually Azolla and Salvinia. And the second category of pteridophytes is large tree-like perennials. That means those plants which complete their life cycle in more than 2 growing seasons, in more than 2 years. They are known as perennials, and in these perennials, the pteridophytes, they assume the shape of trees. Okay, they assume the shape of trees. They are very much large in size, and the examples are, here you can see, this is Angiopteris, here this is Angiopteris, and this one is Osmunda. Okay, That means those pteridophytes which are very much large in size and they assume the shape of trees and they complete their life cycle in more than two growing seasons, they are known as perennials. Okay, this is all for today, and next time inshallah we will start dealing with the external morphological features. Okay, we'll start with the morphology first and then anatomy and then reproduction. This is all for today. Thank you and God bless you all.